It's a little bit cold out here, so I don't know how long I'm gonna be out here. Hopefully, this is at a good height. I may raise it up some. Hold on, let me see. I don't know if that did anything, but it's cold out here. It's raining out here. It's really like 70 something degrees, I think. But the rain and the wind and everything got it feeling like 60 something. And down here in the south, that's pretty cold. So praise Allah. I pray that all is truly well with you all, as well with me here. I'm working on being more consistent with these uploads, so we're doing what we can. But I'm realizing that there's a message that needs to be shared right now. So many people need this message, and you really look around and you see that these times are getting extremely rough. These times are getting extremely difficult, right? And people don't know what to turn to. People have absolutely no clue what to turn to. And you see so many people turning to God, turning to Allah. And that's the only choice. That's the only option. We can't keep putting stuff off, especially turning to God. We cannot continue to put off turning to God. It can't be that way, because that confliction within your heart is going to eat you up. It's going to eat you up. You know, we say, I need to get this done first. I need to get that done first. I need to do this first. I have to do this first. God got to wait because I got to do this over here and that over here. God got to wait. But you go to his word. You go to his precepts. You go to his law. You see that what he has for you is the answer. Every time that I'm going through some strife, I realized that I kept doing the same thing. My religion had to wait until I got this money. My religion had to wait until I did this and that. And then now I'm seeing that I'm dealing with certain things on the financial side. I'm dealing with certain things. And that's really one of the biggest things. And it's been one of my biggest strife has been finances, trying to get work, trying to build finances. And I've made that, you turn that into your God. You make that your God. You make spending money your God. You make whatever it may be your God. Right? It's something that you're putting before Allah. And so when we put these things before Allah and say, when we put Allah on the back burner, it's going to lead us into destruction. The madness of desire shall defeat its own pursuits. And from the blindness of its rage shall we rush upon destruction. And I realize now more than ever the importance of putting Allah first. I have a kind of mission within my community, within my temple, within what I'm doing, where I can't have other things before Allah. I'm realizing that I have to have Allah first in every instance. But that's not just me. That's anybody in life, right? And people that are just more, they feel like they're more everyday, just passerbyers. They feel like it's not as big of an importance in them. But every day you still go through hardship and strife and hardship and strife. And I'm not saying turning to Allah is going to get rid of hardship and strife. But what I'm saying is you find that it no longer destroys you. Like life without Allah, it destroys you. Like the hardness and the strife that you face when you don't rely upon your Creator destroys you. Right? This is something that cannot be ignored. This is something that we have to stop turning away from our Creator because of fearing the outcome or fearing losing something, right? Losing a worldly possession. You have to give up something you love for something you love more. And there's most people you find is not going to be anything they love more than themselves. Even if they say they hate themselves to the fullest, there's still the natural instinct within you. You would preserve yourself. You still have a natural instinct to protect yourself, right? If we can just push a little bit to love who we truly are. And when we love who we truly are and we realize that so many of our choices destroy us, so many of our desires, so many of our things destroy us, right? And so just the desires that we get into, sexual immorality, the food desires that we get into, overeating, eating terrible stuff for you, eating stuff that's bad for your body, bad for your mind, consuming terrible things, right? Mentally, visually, consuming terrible things from all of your senses, consuming terrible things, whether it be terrible news, terrible stories, terrible music. We debase ourselves. We tear ourselves away from Allah. In every sense of the form, we do it. We fell. We made that choice. Yeah, we got free will. And we willed ourselves away from our Creator. We did that. So free will doesn't even mean everybody la-di-da-di. It don't mean go and commit all the sin in the world. That's not what free will is for. Because the more that you act upon this free will, indulge in all these desires, indulge in the world, you lose yourself. You realize that you don't even have a will in the first place. Not really. The only will is Allah's will. And it is our duty to submit ourselves to that will. That is the only thing that can bring you happiness. The only thing that can bring happiness is realizing that we got to submit ourselves to our Creator. And it's a hard thing to understand because we don't understand the connection. A lot of modern, not even modern, this has been around for years. This ideology of the fact that we think that there's a God up there, but not here, right? We think that God is out there watching us down here. So there's a disconnect, right? And the other thing is, people start thinking that God is this European man with a white beard and white long hair and pale skin. God doesn't even match. Nothing that we can see with our eyes are like unto the likeness of God. Nothing that we can see with human eyes is the likeness of God. Nothing in all of creation. Nothing in all of this that we see with our eyes. So not even this flesh. This is the falsehood. This is the illusion. And so now take that away, because again, the idea that God or Allah is up there on a throne, on a singular throne in the sky, way above everybody, above the firmament, right? It makes it impersonal. We don't feel that connection. We feel like He's all the way up there, so far away, right? But Allah is omnipotent. Allah is omnipresent. He is everywhere. He is all things. Allah is all, almighty, infinite. Everything He makes, His breath is in it. Everything with life, His breath is in it. So Allah is within us. He breathed His spirit into man. So Allah is within. All of our experiences, Allah is watching it through our eyes. That's how He knows our sin. That's how He knows our determinations. That's how He knows our thoughts. That's how He knows our decisions. That's how He knows our heart, because He's in there. So Allah is within, and through your eyes, through my eyes, through our eyes, through our senses, is He there with you every step of the way. Allah, through your touch, through your eyes, through your hearing, through your nose, through your mouth, through your taste, all your senses. These are manifest of the spiritual senses. We got 5 senses of the soul. You think about that. You see, but I can see your point. You hear, but I can hear what you're saying. You smell, but something don't smell right. You taste, but something leave a bad taste in your mouth. You feel, but you can't feel what I'm saying. Those things are not manifest. We have the manifest versions of that, right? But these things, come on. The fact that we have consciousness, the fact that we have breath, the fact that we have life shows us that Allah is real, that there is a creator, that there is an independent source, the causeless cause, the rootless root of which all things are formed. Right? Think about it. Everything in life has a dependency. Everything in life goes back in dependency. It depends on something. Everything depends on something. So there has to be an independent source. Everything depends on something. So there has to be an independent source. God is not dependent. Allah is not dependent. He is an independent source, which all things depend upon. So when we start saying, I got to do this other, I'm putting this other dependent source before Allah. I got to do this worldly thing before I turn to Allah. I want to get done with my vices before I turn to Allah. You are selling yourself short. You are doing a disservice to your Creator and to your people and to your family. I was there. I was there putting all this stuff before Allah. And I was a disservice to my family. I was a disservice to my people. I was a disservice to my friends. I was a disservice to the ones I love. And everyone. But when I start putting Allah first, I start honoring my father, my mother. I start honoring my family. I start honoring my friends. I start honoring my loved ones. There's only one Allah. Everyone sees Allah from different points of view. And so he doesn't seem the same to everyone. Everyone sees Allah from different points of view, so he doesn't seem the same to everyone. But everywhere he is a causeless cause, the rootless root from which all things have grown. So he is the only one that we should be worshiping. Allah is not a woman. Allah is not a man. Allah is infinite. He is beyond gender, beyond sex. He is infinite, the spirit. He holds the masculine and the feminine. We say he because that's English. That's language in general. When it's genderless, the masculine is just the form that we take. It's language. Don't get caught up with he as in it's a man. Because again, they give you that imagery that God is a man. They give you Zeus, Jupiter, a pale European with a big white beard, and that's Santa Claus. Look up Father Christmas. Father Christmas ain't gonna say God. It's not gonna say Christ. It's gonna say Santa Claus. So now, think about that. We look at God as this pale-skinned person with blonde hair, blue eyes, or long white hair, right? Keeping the Santa Claus who gives you these material blessings. And what does Santa Claus do? Bring presents to everybody in one night? How does that make sense? What's that correlation? And I'm not trying to be facetious or speak ill against anyone's celebrations. I'm saying, look at our dependency on these material things. Look at the mockery that they make, the indoctrination. I'm just saying, open your mind a little bit. If you celebrate Christmas, that's cool. If you like that, that's cool. There's no problem with that. But look at how the game is played. We've been turned into some idolaters. We've been turned into worshiping these material things. We've been turned into worshiping these celebrities. We've been turned into worshiping these things that have no merit, no power to save, no heart to sympathize, no eyes to see, no ears to hear. These gods are made of air and clothed with the shadow of a thought. And they're demons in disguise. Really? We got two selves. The only devil from which man must be redeemed is self. And the only savior is self. We got a higher self and a lower self. And the devil is within. The same way that love is within. That Allah is within. It's time we start giving our life to Allah. Because the time is here. Our people need this more than anything. Peace. I love y'all.